Hi, my name is Jayosa. I teach, mentor, and coach people on public speaking so that they can get winning high stakes speeches, whether it's one on one, in a small group, or in front of a large audience. The thought of the day today is the reason why the election, the 2016 presidential election, is so close right now. And we're 1 week before the big debate, and I have some thoughts on this. Many people would think that between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton is definitely more qualified. And a lot of people are surprised that why this election is so close. Because when they look at Donald Trump, they look at a person who doesn't have any kind of political experience. He ticks off people left and right. He doesn't have any kind of ground game. And even within his own party, there are a lot of established Republicans that do not support him. Yet they can't understand why this election is so close. So I gave some thought to it, and here's the reason. I think Donald Trump has figured something out, and based on the polls, you have to say that it's working. Typically, in the past, candidates have focused on optimism, the overall optimism. This is how Reagan was successful in both 1980 and primarily 1984, and he won in landslides. A lot of people would say that was the reason why George W. Bush won 2 elections, and also the reason why both Bill Clinton and Barack Obama also won. They created that optimistic message, and that has been the way presidential candidates have done in the past. Present an optimistic message, and people like optimism and they vote for him. Donald Trump is doing something contrary to that. He has a negative message. Rather than overarching messages, make America great again, but then rather than saying here's what we're going to do to make it great, it's always a negative. Why we're not great. And that is somehow different than the past. So the way it works with Donald Trump is like this. If somebody out there is angry about immigration, he will focus on that issue and then say all the things that may or may not be true. Many of the times it's not true, but it doesn't matter. These are one issue candidates. So what Donald Trump is doing is kind of micro targeting. He's micro targeting these people who are one issue candidates. So for example, let's say I am very much concerned about terrorism. And if he says something that's the way I'm thinking, then I became a one issue a voter. I don't care about the other issues. If I have a job, economy is not an issue for me. If I'm living up north where there's no real immigration, where I don't compete with immigrants, that's not going to be an issue. But the one issue that I'm really caring about is terrorism. And if Donald Trump takes a hard line on it, and then he trashes his opponent saying Hillary Clinton is incompetent, she was the owner of ISIS, or etc., I'm going to be attracted to that message. The rest of the messages do not matter at all. And this is exactly what he has done. He takes these one issue and he goes after the people that are really angry, that care about that one issue, and he just shows why they should be angry, and the anger should be towards the current president and Secretary Clinton. And that seems to be working, it seems like. Otherwise, the polls wouldn't be this close. And I think this is kind of unique. Rather than presenting an optimistic view of the country, he basically has an overarching make America great again, but then each one of them is all about why it's not great. And that's almost like tapping into the anger. It's almost like a manufactured anger. Even if you're not affected, like I live in New Jersey. We just had recently a terrorism act, and they luckily caught the guy. Not that far away from where I live, actually. In fact, when you take a train, you pass by Elizabeth and Linden, train station, and my daughter takes the train. So it's very close to us. But I don't have that seething anger, like, oh, I'm uneasy about all this. In fact, I think the people that are in charge are doing a great job, but I'm not going to make this the only issue. But if this was the only issue, then Donald Trump would be my guy, right? That's how it works. And he's tapped into this. He takes each issue, whether it's trade, he's making America great again. And the people that are suffering, it's because of President Obama, the establishment Republican, and Secretary Clinton's idea. And those people favor Trump. So he picks all these issues and he creates this anger, and the alternative is so unacceptable that he is the only viable solution for that, candidate for that. And I think he's been very successful in micro targeting different audiences, whether it's veterans with Veterans Care, boom, he gets that support. People that are, let's say, who are threatened with their jobs because of jobs being moved to foreign countries, he goes after that. Boom, he targets that, he wins that. So it's that targeting, but the way he targets is not with an optimistic view. It's almost like a manufacturing anger that you are miserable because of these type of decisions. But he never has to offer any kind of solution because there's no reason for it. Anger gets you the votes. And he's been able to really tap into that anger. And it's not a universal anger, because if you look at the stats, the economy is doing well, right? If you believe in the stats. You can't believe it when when your guys are running the country, and when your guy's not running the country, you can't say, those stats don't mean anything. Stats are stats. Either you like them or you don't like them. So the unemployment, according to the latest stat, is below 5%. According to economists, that's full employment, okay? You may not like it, but that's the reality. That's how things are measured. If you're gonna, unless you have a better way of measuring it. But that doesn't matter. The unemployment is usually a good indicator, but that doesn't seem to matter. He's tapping into individual anger that people have. And when you got a population of 330 million and social media, it doesn't take much to find one area that people are definitely going to be angry. And the other thing I have to point out is that it's very difficult for people to focus on multiple issues. I'm of the opinion the reason why he's doing so well is that people can only focus on one issue, the one issue that matters above all. And if they're really angry about that one issue, they're going to move to Donald Trump. If somebody like myself, who looks at multiple issues and kind of weighs the pros and cons, look at the experience, look at the track record, how each one behaves, how each one treats the people, how each one can handle the situation. If they're going to do the kind of analysis that I'm doing, they're probably going to pick Hillary Clinton. Because when you compare them to two of them, there's no comparison. Hillary Clinton should easily win this election. But that's not the case. So obviously, we have a democracy. There are a lot of people that are not thinking like me. And the reason they're not thinking like me probably is because they're focusing on one issue. And when you're focusing on one issue, you're going to pick the guy who incites anger. There's no optimism there. At least I haven't seen it yet. And that's not his strategy, because he wants to go in front of a lot of people and incite that anger. And it seems to be working. Is this a good thing? I don't think so. But that remains to be seen. But I just wanted to kind of talk about this because a lot of people out there are kind of confused. Like, how is this guy winning? Or how is this so close? And this is my reason why this election is so close. Let me know what you think, and thank you for watching, and good luck this election.